Chef Champion here to take you on a culinary journey I promise you've never been before. I'm here to help mold you, shape you, motivate you, and most importantly, inspire you into cooking like a champion. I'm Chef Champion, but my friends call me Ace. Welcome to the new age of culinary learning. Cook like a champion on this great station.
All right, remember I told you I was gonna show you how to make that white chocolate cherry tiramisu? We're gonna get right into that. So you wanna make sure you start off with 3 egg yolks. Please use the egg yolks. First time I made this, I actually made it for a cooking class. I put the whole eggs in there. Trust me, it does not come out the same way. So you just need the egg yolks. So then I'm just gonna add in half a cup of sugar. I'm actually doing a half a recipe that you guys will be doing at home. So this feeds probably about 4 or 5 people. Give that a nice little stir. And this is definitely something that you want to continue and keep stirring and keep working with it. Please don't walk away from this. You will end up with scrambled eggs. And even though I love scrambled eggs, just not with my dessert. So I don't know if you guys can get in there and see, you see how it's actually starting to melt nicely. All right, that's when we're gonna go ahead and add in our other ingredients. So I'm gonna add in a little bit of chocolate Kahlua because traditional tiramisu is coffee based and I'm not a fan of coffee, but I love me some Kahlua. So I'm gonna add a little bit of that in there. I'm gonna add in a little bit of this Madagascar vanilla bean paste to it. Do you have to use Madagascar? No, you can use McCormick. Please don't use an imitation because you guys were making all natural ingredients right here. So make sure you do that. Now I'm gonna add in my chocolate chips and mascarpone cheese. Can you use cream cheese? I know someone out there is wanting to know. Yeah, you can, but cream cheese is a little bit more bitter. Mascarpone is really nice and smooth and really makes for a good classic tiramisu. So we're just gonna mix that in. And you wanna just keep stirring this and keep mixing this probably for about, I wanna say 10 to 15 minutes until you got a nice creamy texture. And then we're just gonna take that off, just like so. And we're gonna throw that in the oven for probably, we're gonna throw that in the refrigerator for probably about, probably 45 minutes to an hour. You wanna make sure that it's called Sauvignon, say it with me, Sauvignon. You wanna make sure that your Sauvignon is nice and cool before you mix it with the whipping cream. All right, so while that's in there cooling, we'll go ahead and get our ladyfingers ready. So I'm starting off with this Cherry Delight Preserve. I love it because it's all natural. Down there at Country Ovens, they really make a good product. Whenever I'm doing anything, I try and be as all natural as possible. You know, I know it's kind of hard going to the grocery store. I know most of the stuff on the shelves is not so natural. That's why I like going to these little small shops. So we want to thin this out. Obviously, you guys know I'm not going to use no water, so I'm going to use a little bit of Bacardi 151. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oops. Come on, we're in the Midwest, you guys. That's not even enough to even register. So I'm going to give that a nice little mix. And I love this cherry preserve because I don't know if you guys can get in there and see, it actually has the chunks of cherries in there, which makes just for an excellent dipping. So, you know, traditional tiramisu, we would be dipping this in coffee, but we're not going to do that. We're going to actually use this cherry preserve and rum. So we're just going to take these lady fingers and we're going to start layering them. And like I said, I'm doing a half a recipe. Nice layer. And then you just break off the little piece. Figure out a way what to do with the leftovers. And now I'm actually gonna take a spoon. You can use a spoon, a brush, whatever you like. But I'm just gonna spoonful some of these cherries right over the lady fingers. Just like so. Make sure you save enough for the other side. So while that's getting going, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back, and then we'll jump right in and we'll finish it up, and then we'll actually get to eat it and see how it all tastes. So we'll take a break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So now what we wanna do is we wanna go ahead and get our whipping cream made. So bust out the KitchenAid. Very important with your whipping cream, you freeze the bowl. Yeah, really important when you make homemade whipping cream. Just make sure you freeze the bowl so your whipping cream stays nice and cool. Worst thing that you want to do is add heat to that whipping cream. You definitely don't want to do that. All right, so all I'm going to do is just add in my whipping cream. I'm going to add in probably about 3/4 of a cup. Because remember, we're just doing a half a recipe. You always want to start your KitchenAid mixer on low and then gradually get higher. Please do not over whip this. Oh my God, it will turn into butter. And even though I know you Midwesterns love butter, this is not the good butter, trust me. All right, now that it's, turn that down a little bit so you guys can hear me. Now it's probably about soft peaks. That means it's getting pretty stiff in there. This is the time where I want to add in a little bit of powdered sugar. And I love using powdered sugar instead of regular sugar because it doesn't weigh it down as much as regular sugar. So I'll give that one last mix. A good whipping cream, you should be able to turn it upside down and do that. Don't hit this. I did this once in front of a class of person and literally it plopped right there on her hair. So please make sure you don't do that. So now that our whipping cream is done, we're gonna go ahead and marry that with our Sauvignon. We'll go ahead and grab that out of the fridge. And this went in the refrigerator for probably a good hour, so it's nice and stiff. So I'm just gonna take my whipping cream and add that right to my Sauvignon. So you guys know essentially what I'm making is mousse. This is pretty much chocolate mousse. That's all that tiramisu really is. What I started to learn when I started to cook a lot of different desserts, that a lot of the French desserts are pretty close to the Italian desserts that are pretty close to the Louisiana desserts. So as you guys see, I'm folding this in nicely. Please don't use a whisk. You want to keep that air in your whipping cream. Once that whipping cream goes dead, it's pretty much done. And now you just got the liquid whipping cream, which you don't want that. So if you guys just say, you know what, I don't even want to finish this, go ahead and get you a bowl, get you a nice big spoon, put on your favorite movie, and go to town. Because this is definitely edible. And it's calorie free. Not, I'm just kidding. It's got a little bit of calories, but like I said, it's all natural, so your body knows how to digest it. So I'm gonna take that Sauvignon and I'm just gonna spoonful that right over that first layer. I love it when everything works the way it's supposed to work. Don't get me wrong, you guys, I've made this a couple of times and it did not come out this way. I think what I did wrong was my Sauvignon wasn't cooled enough. So when I mixed it with my whipping cream, I literally just melted the whipping cream. So we're gonna add one more layer of the lady fingers right down there. So as this sets into the refrigerator, what's gonna happen is the mousse is actually gonna, or the lady fingers is actually gonna absorb the mousse. A lot of people misinterpret tiramisu as a cake, which is kind of like a cake, but not. And then we're gonna take the rest of that delicious cherry and rum mixture and spoonful that right over it. Just like so. Give that a nice spread. And then last but not least, finish it with the rest of your Sauvignon. You guys learn that word. You go around to your neighbors and you start spitting out Sauvignon, they're gonna think you're so fancy. I'm like, where'd you learn that from? You tell them, I was watching the Chef Champion show. That's all. Give that a nice spread. So last but not least, the last thing that we want to do is add in our cocoa. And we're gonna spread this pretty heavy. You literally want to cover the whole top with the cocoa. Remember, season high above so you can actually see where it's going. You guys never made homemade tiramisu, it is the best. Very easy, simple ingredients that you should have in your cabinet already. Maybe not the lady fingers, but you definitely should have the cream. And this is the Midwest. I know you got the liquor in there. So cover this, put this in the refrigerator. This is gonna probably have to do it overnight. They recommend 6 to 8 hours. Overnight is definitely the best. It's actually the best after the second day, so just a heads up. All right, so obviously I had to make one ahead of time because we're on TV time. And this is what it's supposed to look like when it comes out. I don't know if you get a good shot of that. Nice and firm. I can turn it upside down. It's nice and stiff. That's what you want with a good tiramisu. You definitely don't want it runny. This is not pudding, that's for sure. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and plate this up and see what it looks like. So we'll take our knife, nice little cut right down the middle. Now I'm gonna do a king's portion right here. Always the first one's always the hardest one to get out, so but we'll see what we can do. Oh, that actually came out pretty good. So you see how we have it? You can actually see the cherries up inside of it. You can see the nice cocoa on the top of it. I know you can't see the rum in there, but it's in there. So we're gonna go ahead and place that on a plate just like that. Good eating right there, you guys. So there you have it, your Cherry Delight white chocolate tiramisu. Get all the rest of this stuff all put in some Tupperware. I think Amon Green is getting ready to come home, so I want to make sure I have that done for him. And I think that's it. So thank you for watching Cook Like a Champion. I hope you can go into your kitchen and make this just like I did. I know you'll do well. That's our show. I'll see you next week, you guys.